Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to talk a little more about what we're doing here at Cater. Just by quick way of background, this is my third tech startup as CEO. My first one was a company called EarthCast, which we started in my basement in Vancouver. We put cameras on the International Space Station. We scaled it up. We took it public. We raised a couple $100 million, mainly from Fidelity as the anchor investor. I stepped down 5 years to the day from when we started it to work on another satellite company, which was satellite Internet of Things, kind of connected devices, working wide. We're in the final stages of selling that to a strategic investor. I actually presented that company here at this conference last year, and I'm now with Cater. And what we're doing is building out a mobility as a service platform offering an integrated intermodal transportation network. We're based in Vancouver. I'll come back and talk about all of this in a minute. We're based in Vancouver. We've raised about $5 million so far. We just launched our service a few months ago. We're in early stage revenue and we're looking to scale. Mobility as a service, transportation as a service, is the idea of being able to combine different types of transportation into a single network. So you have buses, public ferries, maybe even regional airplanes, subway, car sharing, bikes, scooters, all working together in a single platform, providing a single integrated service. So imagine, if you will, you're coming to this conference, you're in Discovery Bay on the other side of the harbor, you're going to take some type of transportation. It's kind of a long trip. What you might do is you take a bus, you walk outside, you wait for the bus takes you to the ferry, you take the next ferry, you get over here, and maybe you jump on the subway or you look for a taxi or you take a bus to get a little closer to here, and then you use something else for the last mile. The point is that it's 5 or 6 different types of transportation, all kind of working independently. With what we're doing is you enter your starting point, you enter your destination, you pick 3 or 4 different criteria. I want something that's the quickest or the cheapest. I want something that gets me to my destination by this time. I want to leave at this time. Kind of like when you book a flight online, it gives you cost, duration, arrival time, departure time, something similar like that. We do the exact same thing. And then we issue you a boarding pass. And the boarding pass is based on all the payments are integrated, handled by us. You walk outside, the bus gets there 2 or 3 minutes later. You get to the ferry 5 minutes before the ferry leaves. You scan your phone because you've already paid. You get on the ferry drops you off at the terminal here. You walk out and there's Uber or taxi, whatever it is waiting for you. It's car number 327. The guy's name is John. He's got a 5-star rating. Here's his license plate. You walk in, it's all integrated, all working together, safe, seamless. That's kind of how the system works. And the point is that all cities around the world are re-examining their relationship with ride-hailing, all forward-looking cities. Whenever a city does any kind of report on congestion, Uber is always listed. And the fact is that ride-hailing makes congestion worse. There's all kinds of reasons why cities have bad congestion, of course. Poor planning, poor public transportation, lack of infrastructure, overdevelopment, whatever it is, but Uber is always listed as a cause of ride-hailing. And the reason is because it puts more cars on the road. And so cities right now around the world are looking for holistic solutions to improve and reduce congestion. In fact, in Canada and other parts of the world, if we put someone onto public transportation using our network, the public transportation authorities will actually pay us for it because we're doing their job. We're reducing congestion. We're taking a car off the road. We're doing their job. This is the industry. Mobility as a service, of course, it's massive. It's about $100 billion right now. It's growing at about 35% per year. Within the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to be $250 billion, and within 7 or 8 years after that, it'll be $1 trillion. It's a massive industry growing rapidly. When you break it down towards the niche that we operate in, it's actually much smaller. And there's 7 or 8 competitors globally. Most of those in Northern Europe, Scandinavian countries, for whatever reason. I think it's government regulations and mandates. But there's 7 or 8 companies around the world that are trying to put together and launch these mobility as a service platform. We're one of the only 2 or 3 that are operating in North America. Uber, some of the other incumbents are looking at it. They're doing pilot projects in some of the Denver, Austin, Portland cities like that, but it's actually quite small. And when we look at expansion opportunities for us, there's probably 30 or 40 cities that we can expand into around the world. I don't think there's 500 or 600. Uber does about 25% of its revenue from 5 cities, and they do another 50% of the revenue from another 12 or 15 cities after that. So they're in 600 cities. 550 of them don't matter. For what we're doing, going into a city and offering a holistic solution that brings in existing stakeholders, taxi, government regulations, public transportation, existing infrastructure, there's probably 40 or 50 cities that around the world that we can operate into. A bunch of the Scandinavian countries don't have ride hailing. France, Germany, they're in the process of kicking them out. London kicked them out. They kind of lobbied their way back in. There's a movement happening worldwide where cities are trying to examine their relationship with ride hailing, and we can take advantage of that. In the Vancouver market, where we are right now, revenue over the next couple, 3 years will be about $75 million. There's a direct path to revenue in this industry, and it operates at about a 15 or 18% gross margin. And so here's where we are. We've got about 45 developers, or about 45 employees in Vancouver. We've raised about $5 million in a seed round. We have the regulatory approvals, all the government approvals in place for where we are right now. The management team, we're in the process of looking to scale over the next 4 or 5 months. We're going to finish our launch in Vancouver, and then we're looking to expand to a couple other cities in North America, and then actually into Asia. And so that's why we're here. Thank you very much.